Alright, looks like we're actually live this time. Hello and welcome to Cupcakes and Hot Takes with Maral and John. I'm Maral.
And I'm John.
Today we are reviewing 12 Angry Men.
Yes, classic movie. The original release date for this movie was April 10th, 1957. Yes, we saw the 1957 version, not the one that came out in the 90s?
I'm not sure.
90s? Yeah, we saw the old one.
The classic.
Yes, it was adapted from a play written by Reginald Rose, which was released in 1954. So just a few years after the release of the play, they decided to make a movie.
You can really tell it was a play, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was really meant to be a play.
Yeah, sorry, my tea. I'm enjoying some hot tea on this cold winter day. So the movie had a budget of $337,000, which, keep in mind, this was the 50s, so it's a pretty decent sized budget. And it made over $2 million if you include the rentals. So, not too shabby.
Did they do rentals back in the day?
Well, I don't know about back in the day, but this was the only source I could find for box office.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I recall, yeah, rentals were really expensive. You had to buy like the $100 cassette or whatever they used.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go into the synopsis.
Right.
Shall I take over?
Yes, go ahead.
So we follow 12 angry men who are jurors in a murder trial of a young man in New York City. He had been accused of killing his father, and he's what, 16, 17 years old?
I think he's 17, 18 years old. He's
Yeah.
old enough to be tried for an adult.
Young child. He's put up for life or no,
Death penalty.
Death penalty, that's right. And so they have his entire life in their hands, and they're trying to decide as a jury if they're guilty or not. And basically, in the first few minutes of the movie, everyone thinks he's guilty, with one standout juror who doesn't necessarily think he's guilty or innocent. He just wants to go over all the details. And it's a hot summer day, and everyone gets upset. That's about the synopsis of the whole thing, without any spoilers.
Yeah. Just in case, for those of you that don't know much about our judicial system, you need a unanimous vote of guilty to send someone to jail.
Or innocent.
Yeah, or, I mean, if they're deadlocked, then it goes into a mistrial and they could try again.
That's right.
So, to send someone to jail, you need all 12 jurors to agree that the person is guilty.
That's what's great about America, baby.
Yeah. Innocent until proven guilty.
Well, they say that, but...
So, what are your initial grades for the movie? What's your initial thoughts?
You know, I was going to give it an 8.9, but I think giving it a little extra time to stew, I'm going to give it an 8.8. 8.8.
8.8.
Solid B. Well, B plus.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards I would give it an 8.7 cupcakes out of 10. Solid B. Interestingly enough, Rotten Tomatoes gives this movie 100%.
A perfect score.
A perfect score, meaning that there is
Flawless
absolutely no
film.
flaws to this film. Keep in mind, this is the highest that the Rotten Tomatoes grade that's been given from the movies.
Yeah, you can't get higher than 100%.
No, from all the movies we've reviewed so far.
Okay. Isn't it on par with Toy Story 2?
No, Toy Story 3, I believe, also has 100%. Or 99, 100%.
Something very high.
Yeah, so they're saying this movie was better. So 12 Angry Men was better than Godfather, Parts 1 and 2, Shawshank, Dark Knight, which I highly do not agree with. There were some issues with this movie. I don't know if Rotten Tomatoes was like, oh, it's considered a classic, let's just give it 100%.
I'm sure that's a portion of it.
Terrible.
They always rate the classics higher, you know.
Yeah. Terrible. Got my eye on you, Rotten Tomatoes.
Is Rotten Tomatoes run by professional critics or
I have no idea.
regular people?
I'm pretty sure I gotta look up the history to be sure. I'm pretty sure it was started by a group of people, just like friends.
So anyone can influence the score?
I know. So then they have like a separate like audience member scores, right? So you and I can go on there and rate it.
Okay.
Give it a rating, and then they have their own personal scores.
Should we do both? The audience and the Rotten Tomatoes official score?
No.
Okay.
The audience. I'm gonna say this to y'all right now. I don't trust most of y'all's opinion. So many times in the last 20 years, people come in, oh, this movie was so amazing, John. You gotta go watch it, and it was terrible. What's wrong with you, America?
Anyway.
Yeah. So yes. So
let's go into the awards.
Yeah, let's get into the awards a little bit.
Music's a little
music's
loud.
a little loud. Let me turn it down just a little smidge.
If anyone were here live with us, they'd be able to tell us how loud it is. Friends. Just kidding. We love y'all. You can watch the YouTube video later. I won't be mad.
That's too low. My stubby fingers are making this hard. Okay, that's good.
John has incredibly stubby fingers.
Yes, but back to the point of the movie. Yes, I got short fingers, small hands, and stubby fingers. But
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, we don't want to deter too much off the topic, but let's get back to it. Yes, so during the 30th Academy Awards, it was nominated for 3 awards.
Solid. There was a lot less
competition back then.
No, I was gonna say there's a lot less awards.
Yes,
back
a lot less awards given out back then too. Yes, so it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and also Best Adapted Screenplay. All 3 of those were won and swept by The Bridge on the River Kwai.
Never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though. I heard that one's a pretty good movie. I don't think that's on our list.
I don't think so either. This is the oldest film we've done so far.
Yes.
But it's not the oldest on our list, I don't believe.
Yeah, I believe Citizen Kane is on there. I believe that's our oldest movie.
40s? Or also 50s?
I want to say 40s.
Okay.
But I gotta double check.
Well, when is the Charlie Chaplin films? Those are from like the 30s.
Oh, maybe. But again, let's stop talking about other movies.
Alright, so from here on out, I believe we're getting into spoiler territory. This will be a shorter film. Review, right?
Just for the audiences now, the other films that were nominated were during that year were Peyton Place, Sayonara, Witness for the Prosecution. I've never heard of any of those movies, but yeah, just in case anyone else was wondering what other movies came out that year. So, as Maral said, starting now, we're going to go into spoiler territory. So if you have not seen the movie and would like to, or read the play, and would like to without spoilers, please stop now and come back after you've seen or read the book or play film or movie. Sorry.
So yeah, this is technically the first film John and I have not watched, either of us. However, John has read the play in high school.
Yes, I read the play in high school. During English class.
It's not quite a completely new story to us. So soon we will review something that neither of us is completely new to us. But let's start with video editing. So this film is filmed in black and white, almost completely. It's not...
No, completely in black and white.
Is it completely? Which isn't like super uncommon at the time, the 57, but it's relatively uncommon. By that point, film in color had been, the standard for the most part. Yeah. So it was definitely a choice, like a conscious choice to do it in black and white. What did you think about it?
I thought it was okay, the black and white.
Editing in general.
Oh, just video editing in general was not good. I'm not saying this as, the movie was old, the editing back then wasn't good. Other movies that I have seen that came out in the 50s were Roman Holiday with the lovely Audrey Hepburn, with Julius Caesar, another movie that came out in the 50s that I've seen. And those movies' editing were pretty good. Yeah, this movie's editing, this movie's editing was just all over the place.
I thought it was better than that.
Really?
Yeah, so, we take... Okay, so there's that scene. I know John is specifically talking about the scene where they zoom in on the kid at the very beginning.
Oh,
you hated that editing, right?
That was one of them. So right in the beginning of the movie...
Is that editing or a directorial choice? I guess both, because it's a long scene as well.
Yeah, just the transition from the kid's face that's getting, that's on, it's getting prosecuted, that's on trial. Straight up, 15 seconds at least, or at least 10, but probably felt like 15.
They're zooming in.
They're on his face, this close, and it just transitions slowly into the juror's room.
Well, that's an old style. I've seen that done.
Yeah, it's done. Doesn't mean it should be done.
To be dramatic.
I've seen a lot of things that were done. Doesn't mean they should be.
I'm just saying, like, that was the style, at the time. Which was the style at the time.
Yeah, but again, I didn't really see this in the other movies that I've seen from the 50s, and it was just a bad choice. Even if it's the style, famous people, famous movies, famous artists have become famous from breaking away from the style at the time. You gotta do what's good and what's best.
There was definitely weak points, but I thought, like, the editing really helped with the pacing a lot. Like, they specifically chose, like, slow, drawn out, extended shots towards the beginning when you're, like, meeting all the characters and getting to know everyone, and then, like, as the tension builds and the conflict rises, they start, getting really quick paced, shooting back and forth between all these characters, because there are 12 people, you have a lot of back and forth and quick clips between everyone, so it's difficult to capture, but I think they did a good job.
Yeah, some parts were well done. I'm not saying it was 100% bad.
I'm saying, that's good editing right there.
Yeah, that editing was good.
Is maintaining the pace and the motion.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that this is a movie that's filmed in literally one room.
Yeah.
I guess there's the bathroom and the jury room, or not the jury room, the trial room. The courtroom, my god. For, like, the first, 2 minutes of the film, they're in the courtroom, and maybe, like, another 5 minutes they're in the bathroom. But for the most part, 95% of the film is filmed in one little room, So you gotta come up with a lot of, like, strategies and, like, ways to make it more visually interesting. Which I guess is more of a directorial. We'll talk about that as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought the pacing, or the editing was good. I don't know.
Like I said, it was okay. There's definitely some faults. One thing I just couldn't stand was juror number 9, the old man. Every now and then, there was this, like, when he wanted to make a point, they didn't do this for anyone else.
It's true.
Just the old man. The camera would be right here, square in his face, right? For some reason, it was only him. No one else they did that to. And I was like, why was this choice?
It was giving me, like, a sense of, like, tension, so I definitely thought at some point he was gonna get decked or something, like, the old man. Like, I don't know. The way they kept, like, cutting into his face and, like, really tight, I don't know. It was giving me, like, tension and anxiety.
Not me. Like, I was just like, why? This is terrible.
Yeah, they definitely only did it for that character, so it definitely had to have been, like, on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there was no...
But I couldn't understand the purpose as a viewer.
Yeah.
Personally.
Just terrible... That's probably directing more than anything that was chosen. Just terrible. Like I said, you can focus on a character if they have a point to say, but it doesn't have to be square right to the face that they're staring into the camera.
Like I said, it definitely seemed purposeful. I just don't know what that purpose was.
Yeah.
I would love to pick the director's brain as to why that character in particular. Because it's not like he had anything groundbreaking to say. The main character is definitely jury number 8. Who, do you know who was played by?
Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda. He's probably the biggest name.
In the film, yes. Yeah. Henry Fonda, sorry. He was the juror number 8. He was the one who was the only person who voted not guilty to start the whole movie off and get it going. A very iconic character.
And Jane Fonda's father.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's right. Very famous actor. His acting was solid. It was okay.
Definitely one of the better actors. I will say, though, I did a little research, and it turns out, like, a lot of the actors are big names in this film. I didn't really recognize too many people because it's an old film.
Yeah, a lot of them were big names.
At the time,
Which was
the style at the time.
But yeah, overall, the acting was pretty good. I didn't have too many issues with it. There is random. Sorry, I'm gonna. When I read this play in high school, there was, the teacher had us all act out the different parts, as we're reading. We're not acting them out, but we're like just sitting in our desk and just people were assigned
like
different
popcorn.
roles. I mean, people were assigned certain roles.
Okay. Who were you?
And the teacher made me the foreigner.
Of course,
And
that's racist.
I was just low key like, yo, this is racist. Yeah, the teacher had me play the foreigner character, so just random. I think about that.
So did you read it sophomore year?
Yes, my sophomore year.
Sophomore year is like the play year. Like everyone reads a bunch of plays because we
Really?
read, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Julius
you're
Caesar, the Scopes Monkey Trial one. So yeah, I didn't read 12 Angry Men, but it's funny because you had a racist sophomore English teacher. I also had a racist sophomore English teacher. There was one other Asian person in the class, and almost every day this woman would be yelling at him to wake up, and he was wide awake. He was like, lady, I'm awake. This is so racist.
Okay, let's stick to
But anyway, I
topic.
digress. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thought it was a funny story. Guess not.
It is a little bit, but we gotta at least stay on topic here.
Okay, back to
We
topic.
don't want a racist rant video. All right.
So what are your other gripes about this film?
Just a lot of the plot just was kind of hard to swallow. Granted, they were kind of stuck with what they had.
Yeah, there's
Again,
definitely limitations.
Yeah,
to
it was
the
adapted
source
from
material.
the play. And even when I was reading the play, I was like, okay, some of these things just were really dumb and just didn't really piece it together. Just...
Give us some examples.
Let's see. Yeah, so an example
knife.
would be the duplicate knife. So they're talking about the knife, how it was very special, that was used to kill the father,
It's
the very
very
specialty
unique.
knife, unique, and that the son had that knife earlier in the day,
So it had to have been him.
Yeah, so okay, so it must have been him. Juror number 8, Henry Fonda, magically pulls out an exact looking knife from his
Replica.
pocket and throws it on the table, right? And they're comparing it with the, actual knife that was used in the stabbing. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's insane. How'd that happen? And he goes, oh, I was just walking last night. I was just walking through the kids' neighborhood, stopped into a pawn shop and found it. And I found this and bought it and decided to bring it in.
That juror would have been immediately excused.
Yeah, I don't know if the laws were different in the 50s, but I'm pretty sure that jurors are not allowed to go investigating things themselves. They're not allowed to, and aren't jurors searched before they enter a courtroom?
So yeah, first of all,
How do you get the knife in?
he would have never gotten the knife in if we were this day and age. But second of all,
Like I said, maybe it was different in the 50s.
he is not allowed to go to the area of the crime. He is not allowed to investigate the trial outside of the scope of the actual trial. These people aren't even allowed to Google news or
They
watch.
didn't have Google back then.
I mean, watch the news about their case, because they have to keep it strictly the facts from the case. And so the fact that he went completely on his own, he would have been excused as a juror immediately.
Yeah. So if anyone, for some reason, is a weird courtroom history buff and knows the laws, if the laws were different back then or anything like that, please leave a comment below and let us know.
Do you have any lawyer
any
fans
lawyer
for some reason?
historic lawyer fans? Yes, we would greatly appreciate if you could leave us a comment.
Yeah, we're just curious.
Yeah, just curious. What other just weird, dumb things were there? They're talking about, the kid didn't know what movie he went to that same night, right? And so juror number 8, Henry Fonda, he's asking juror number 4, did you see a movie recently? Yeah, I saw a movie a few days ago. And the guy couldn't remember the movie, the second movie that he saw, the double feature. It was a double feature, and he couldn't remember the second movie, which was just a few days ago.
He comes up with it eventually, right?
No, he can
takes a while.
kind of describe it a little bit, but he can't remember the name of the movie. And they're like, see, you can't even remember a movie from a few days ago. How is this kid supposed to remember the name of the movie of the night he just saw with his dead father in front of him? And I was like, how are you not going to remember a movie you just saw a few days ago? Let's see.
Yeah, it was.
It's not like
it felt forced. Like it didn't feel like an actual conversation.
And just like, let's see, just other arguments that were weak. I'm sorry, I'm just going on this little rant here. Like how the switchblade, how you hold a switchblade. They're talking about how the knife, right? Because the kid was shorter than the father, right? And came down at a downward angle, right? And the father, right? So either someone was taller, or someone had to grab the knife and go down like this to kill him, which makes sense, right? Because keep in mind, the kid was on trial for first-degree murder, meaning it was pre-planned, right? And they're saying, no, the way you hold a switch knife, the blade comes up top like this, so you'd hold it like this, right? And go like this, so there's no way he could have gone down. Let's be honest. If he was pre-planning this, he probably opened the blade, grabbed it, and then went down, right? Planning to kill the dude. But they're like, yeah, that makes no sense. That's the only way you can hold a switchblade. What?
I think it was more of like, this is how I see kids fight in the hood. Because that guy was like the only guy who's from that shitty
Yeah, he saw like
side
knife
of
fights.
town.
But
yeah.
It's like a bunch of kids with knives, they're trying to play defensive and, trying to, not like, I'm going to murder this man and he has nothing else that can stop me in the middle of the night. Let's see.
That one I didn't have as much of a problem with as the...
And this one, right? So the woman, right? The woman witness says she saw it happen, right? And they're like, wait, doesn't she wear glasses? What if she didn't have her glasses on at night? Well, there's a chance. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, in that case, you could bring that up with any eyewitness in any trial. Like,
Do you use corrective?
Yeah. Do you use corrective lenses? Or just like that's just.
Well, like
such a
yeah,
big argument.
like it could have been. She could have been nearsighted.
She could have been farsighted for all we know.
Well, like I'm saying, like I believe farsighted is the one where you can't see far.
Oh well, either
or whatever. Anyway, she could have been using her glasses just for near reading, and then she could be able to see far away. They don't know that, so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They could say that about any eyewitness ever again.
Unless you're 2020, you don't count as an eyewitness.
No, even because they don't even ask that. If you have good eyesight.
Yeah, it's just weak reasoning. I know that they're grasping at straws here, but it is weak reasoning.
Again, I understand they're stuck with the source material.
And reasonable doubt.
And, all they need is reasonable doubt, but come on. Granted, I'm not the biggest fan of when they change things from books to movies, but, you gotta have some license to change things to make it more, sense or, make things more flow, just make things a better story. But I digress.
What are some good things you liked about it?
So don't get me wrong, the movie was not 100% bad, I gave it an 8.7.
I enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I also enjoyed? It was short.
Yeah.
Old movies are only like an hour, 20 minutes. I miss that.
Me too. Nowadays, movies they just gotta extend it long and long.
They're
Things
so
just drag
long.
on and on. Oh. But, sorry.
What things you liked?
Some of the things I liked, they did a really good job remembering that the room was always hot, right?
Yeah.
It was a hot summer's day, locked in a room. The fan wasn't working. They said something about the AC not working, right? Heat, and
It makes people crazy.
yeah, this makes it look like heat craze. Just gets people a little, riled up, and they did a good job of remembering to have sweat stains on people, and people constantly trying to fan themselves, dripping sweat, which honestly they could have very well just forgotten about.
I don't know about forgotten about, but I think they do a really good job at making it a plot point.
Yeah.
Is the fact that it's freaking hot and everyone's miserable, they want to leave, it's significant.
Yeah.
Alters the plot.
Yeah. Another thing I enjoyed was the acting. like I said, very solid acting. You know, for
Henry Fonda was good.
Yeah, for all the actors. I mean, Henry Fonda I thought was solid. You know, I don't want to say he was good. It was, then again, I guess it was kind of stuck with that character. Juror number 3, the one who...
Which one is that?
He was the last one to change his vote.
Oh, okay. The angry guy.
The very angry guy. I thought he was the best one of the group. He did a really good job. Just constantly, you know... he did a really good job of balancing the anger and trying to be calm at the same time.
Yeah, there's some people that were just angry, and, like, this guy, like... picked his battles and had relevant points.
I mean, not only that, but he did a good job showing that. You know? Like you'd see him trying to control his anger, trying to be calm, but at the same time, certain times he just has to release all that anger. He just couldn't control it. So that was well done. What about you?
I think something that I really liked about this film is how they can give you a snapshot of each character real quickly and be like, this is this guy, this is his character, this is his personality, this is what's important to him. Because, this is 12 people. It's a lot of people. They don't even have names. They're literally numbers. Juror number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of difficult because, they're all white men. Some of them look kind of similar. But they're all unique characters. And they do a really good job of getting in, telling you what you need to know about each character or juror, and then using that information to further the plot very quickly and efficiently. And like I said, I also like the cinematography. The black and white is like I'm assuming it's a metaphor for like justice, like being black and white, and the truth is black and white. There's no room for gray and stuff like that. I like the juror number 8 slash lighting. It's really old style. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're referring
when ever there was juror number 8 like solo on the screen, did you notice there's like lighting just around his eyes?
Sometimes, yeah.
So what that was called at the time was slash lighting, and basically they did that to make their eyes sparkle, and it would like be like, this character is important, this character is like the moral compass or like whatever. And so like I could immediately tell watching the film, like, this guy's the guy, this is the character who's gonna be saving the day because they use the slash lighting. Have you seen the Addams Family movie from the 90s?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Morticia Addams?
Yeah.
How she has the same slash lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
That's an example. It was more of a parody when they use the slash lighting then. They don't really use that anymore. But yeah, watching that was cool. I was like, I know exactly which character is the main character in this film immediately by the lighting. Like I said, it's an old style. And then at the beginning of the film, it was cool because like they're filming from above, so you like really can see like the limitations of the room, like where we are, where everyone is situated. Gives you a layout of the land, and then as they're talking and discussing towards like the middle of the film, it's like eye level, and so you can like see everyone, see their emotions real well. And then towards the end, when everyone's getting really mad and they're hot and they're tired and they're cramped, they're shooting from below, and like you can really see like feel like the claustrophobia of the room by seeing like the walls and the ceilings like jutting out around them. I thought the cinematography was well done. And then, like I said, I really like those long shots. I always loved long shots. So when 1917 came out, the like one extended cut.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
I loved that. I was like, oh, yes, I love long shots.
Yeah, that was beautifully done.
So, yeah, I've always been a big fan of like those long, sweeping, dramatic shots. So I like that a lot, They do a really good job at like using the room that they have.
But kind of going back to, the getting each character, differentiated and, getting to know what each character is. I was not a fan of how long it took for them to actually start the jury proceedings, right? You know, a couple guys had to run to the bathroom and yada yada. And I understand like they wanted to start showing each character and who they were, but that was just
Took too long?
took way too long. Just kept dragging on. I was like, come on, get to, you know. Excuse me, we're here to watch the jury proceedings, not to sit around and talk about baseball and this guy's favorite team is Baltimore's baseball
They
team.
took a little long, but I was okay with it. I wasn't mad.
Yeah. Also, kind of going back to things I didn't like about the movie. I wasn't a big fan of the fact of why certain jurors changed their votes. Like, I forget which number it was, but there was the racist juror.
Yeah.
Right? That guy wouldn't have changed his vote for nothing.
I think it stands to say, by the way, that the character who is on trial for murder is some sort of person of color. He looks Indian.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what he was.
Black. I really can't tell, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Gun
told
to
me-
my head, I'd have to say Indian, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he looked Indian.
Yeah.
But
If I had to pick. But basically, you know, it's important to point out that these are all white men in the jury room.
Yeah.
And it's a young person of color in basically the ghetto, right?
Yeah.
Of New York City. So go on. The racist guy.
yeah, I don't think the racist guy would have changed his vote just because everyone else was like, bro, you racist. Right? That was basically just what happened, right? It's like, bro, you're racist. I'm not going to talk to you no more. So then the guy's like, all right, fine, I'll change my vote. No, that.
Right. That would never happen. A racist person's gonna, like, lash out
Yeah.
for being called racist.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just modern racism. Like, white people are so afraid of being called racist that they really get angry. But I don't know. Back in the day, it might have been different.
Let's see what else there's. And juror number 3 changing his vote at the end.
Yeah, that was really weak.
Yeah,
So
really
basically, he was
forced.
the only holdout. He's the only one that was maintaining the guilty stance. Everyone else at this point had turned to non-guilty, and he's fighting, and he kind of comes upon the realization that he doesn't think that the boy is guilty because he thinks the boy is guilty. He's just mad at his own son, and the kid, like, reminds him of his son. And he's like, oh, fine, not guilty. But, like, nothing actually changed his mind. Like, he just realized, like, he just had his own personal prejudice. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not guilty or guilty. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's still, I don't know.
No, I agree.
It felt like he hadn't, like, had enough evidence to change his mind. He just realized he was prejudiced.
Yeah.
That's not enough to change your vote.
No. But, yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much everything I had to say about the movie. Again, a solid movie. Solid B.
Yeah, not too much to talk about. Like, it's a short film. It's classic.
Made in the 50s.
It's simple, you know?
Yeah.
It's exactly what... It knew exactly what it was doing and what it wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and the play itself is pretty short, too.
Yeah,
So.
it is. I remember seeing some other people reading it. It's a short. But maybe we can talk about some background stuff, some trivia. For example, did you know 1957, when the film was released, was the same year that they passed the voting rights, or I think the Voting Rights Act, which allowed women to serve in juries?
Oh, hey, look at that.
So the same year it came out, women were finally able to serve in juries.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, just historically, if anyone was wondering why the juror is all men,
White men.
white men. It came out in 1954. Women were not allowed to be on the juries yet.
Yeah.
So, in case anyone was wondering.
Black men even also.
Yeah.
You know, civil rights had just been a twinkle in people's eyes at this point.
Yep. Crazy how times have changed, huh?
It is. And, you know, you think about a jury of your peers. This is not a jury of your peers, you know. This is a kid from the middle of the ghetto and all these well-to-do white-collar men out here judging him. Did you know that Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor, one of the women, credits this film as being one of the reasons why she chose to become a judge.
I did not know that.
She watched it in her undergrad as she was trying to figure out what she wanted to major in. And she was like, wow, this resonates with me. And, you know, I love that, you know, a Hispanic woman went out and became a Supreme Court justice in this film. So, you know, it's good in that regard. It's cultural, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, you know, could have been done better. Just the plot and, you know, how things change.
I would love to see, like, a more modern take on the film. You know what I mean? Like, a new, updated way. I think there's some episodes of, like, Law and Order that do a really good job at showing, like, the justice system.
Yeah. I think it's just a lot harder to do something like this now. You know, trying to convince everyone.
Yeah. Actually, this film was really recognizable to me, even though I hadn't read the play or watched it, because I saw the Malcolm in the Middle episode where Lois is in court, or doing jury duty for a kid that stole like a bike or something, and everyone thinks he's guilty except for Lois.
No, Lois also voted guilty initially. And
Oh, yeah, that's right. They do like the blind vote, and then everyone thinks he's guilty. And they're like, okay, let's wrap it up. And then Lois goes, wait, that's it? We're not going to talk about it? And then she's like, then I'm changing it to not guilty. And then everyone's mad at her. But yeah, it was very similar. So, you know, all these references from other television movies, stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is a very iconic film.
It is genuinely culturally iconic. Did you also know that rehearsals were done over 2 weeks straight, every single day, in a single room, so as to agitate the actors?
Makes sense.
So they could really hone in on that pissed off,
that
angry men, right?
Yep.
12 angry men. So what are your favorite quotes from the film? There's some decent ones.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
I'm not going to say it's super memorable quotes,
Yeah.
but there's some decent ones.
You can go into them. I think you're the one that wrote these down, right?
I think I am, yeah. So jury number 8 goes, there were 11 votes for guilty. It's not easy to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first. So that's his main thing, was he's like, I just want to talk about it, you know. I don't think he's guilty or not guilty. I just want to talk about it. And then jury number 8 also says, we may be trying to let a guilty man go free, but I don't know. Nobody really can. But we have a reasonable doubt, and that's something that's very valuable in our system. No jury can declare a man guilty unless it's for sure. And then it just reminds me of that quote from English jurist William Blackstone. Better than 10 guilty persons escape than that one innocent should suffer. Which, personally, I'm not a fan of that quote. Call me evil, call me mean-spirited and evil-hearted, but I would prefer 10 innocent people go to jail, as long as we get that one guy that's guilty. Call me crazy.
I'm crazy.
Did you know Ben Franklin revised that from 10 guilty men be free to 100 guilty men?
Yeah, I actually knew that.
So that's how important the justice system was to Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
Founding father.
Truly that you are innocent until without a doubt proven guilty. Yeah.
Well, our current court system could learn a thing or two.
Yeah, that's again another
That's a whole nother
can of worms.
story, yeah.
So,
but as far as the film, I think that's everything I have to say about it.
yeah, likewise.
It's a short one today.
Yeah. Let's see. Our next movie after this will be
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List.
That's another long film.
Yeah, something I've seen.
I've seen
it
as
too,
well.
Right?
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, so it'll be interesting to rewatch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Holocaust films are always rough, so trigger warning, I guess, for the next time around.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about the literal Holocaust, so there'll be some pretty heavy stuff we'll discuss.
Yeah.
But gotta be done.
Yeah. yes, before we sign off, I would like to give a thanks to our sponsor yet again, Bakery Park. This is a small local bakery created by Maral.
Next time I'll have a pie for us, maybe, or cupcakes
something
for our
like that.
cupcakes and hot takes.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea.
All right, let's do it. Let's have cupcakes for our next chat.
Yeah, all right. But with that said, other than that, if there
Wait, real quick. So after Schindler's List, we'll start into Lord of the Rings. Do you want to have a guest star for Lord of the Rings?
if we can find someone,
Yeah, why not? It'll be fun.
yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Um,
Is it possible to have someone call in and put them on the stream, on the screen with us?
I have no idea. I am very technology illiterate.
I'll do some research, figure it out.
Yeah, so
It'd be cool if we could.
yeah, I'm sure there's got to be a way, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm thinking.
what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something before you cut me off.
Sorry.
Oh, if there's anyone else that is looking to sponsor us, will happily take sponsorships.
Please.
If anyone's rich enough to sponsor us, so we can do this full time, that would be the most ideal.
Or we could get at least a nice green screen. I
A
don't know.
green
We'll take
screen.
anything.
No, we will not take anything. Stop saying things like that.
No,
This is
no.
the second time I've had to correct you.
We won't take it from anyone, but we will take any donations. No?
Even then, don't leave the door open like that.
I'ma leave the door open.
Yes. Yeah, and again, if you have any helpful suggestions for our podcast, our young podcast, please.
We take all suggestions.
Yes.
So please.
Please don't mind, or please leave a comment.
Feel
below.
free. Yeah.
And thanks again for listening. This is Cupcakes and Hot Takes.
You
with
forgot
John and
our
Maral.
title?
Yeah, I was about to say something else.
All right. I'm Maral.
And I'm John.
Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.